is wide open.
After the turnover.
He's got a man.
Harburg going deep. Caught.
Happy Friday. We are getting closer and closer to the start of something sweet in Lincoln this year as we stare at the season countdown to kick off. Today, I'm going to discuss the secondary and what we think about Marquise Buford starting at cornerback. We'll also comment on Rhule's remarks about the alternate uniforms, and I'll break down the Huskers' preparation for UTEP and also the starting kicker position. What's going on there? Plus, I'm going to give my bold predictions for the Huskers in 2024. So make sure to comment below what you think. Do you have any bold predictions for them? And at the end of the video, I'm going to answer about 2 or 3 questions that I received from you guys. So if you're a Husker fan or just a college football fan in general, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on notifications as we talk Huskers, Big Ten, and just college football in general every day. Now, as you see, kickoff against UTEP is now under 8 days, and you could start to feel the anticipation as we inch closer to the Huskers' start of, well, to me, their breakout year. Like, we're like a bunch of kids just waiting for Christmas. Well, now, if you remember right, I made a prediction the other day in one of my videos that I knew who would end up being the second corner next to Tommy Hill, and that was Marquise Buford. As I just saw for at least a week, I know of Marquise taking reps from the ones, and it was only Marquise. And I just knew then, I bet you Marquise Buford. So I made that prediction that Marquise Buford would be the starting cornerback next to Tommy Hill. And today, Rhule verified that Marquise Buford is the starting cornerback next to Tommy Hill. Now, I've heard from other channels that question this decision, stating that Buford's not a corner. He hadn't played corner since high school. And yes, Buford hasn't really played cornerback since high school. But you got to understand that Tony White, Rhule, and them, they like mixing it up, mainly in the defense and mainly in the secondary. And so corners play safety, safeties play corner. They go down and even play linebacker. And I guarantee you, Buford, even though he's been listed as a safety, is probably in many plays been playing like a corner on that play. And I felt like that Rhule and Butler and them, it was more about having that veteran status, that knowledge, putting them in together, mixing it up, and having the veteran guys in there, because it just comes down to knowledge and knowledge of the playbook. As Rhule and Butler, they're not just going to throw anyone out there and expect them to know the whole playbook. Plus, these 4 veterans, they have chemistry together. They've been playing for a few years together. They know each other. They know what they're going to do. So you got Buford, Hartzog, Tommy Hill, Gifford. They just got that connection together. Now, don't get me wrong. They're going to play a lot of young guys like they did last year. So Jeremiah Charles, Wright, and them, they're going to get in there and play. And as the year goes on, don't be surprised you don't finally end up seeing like Charles or Wright or somebody kind of taking over, that maybe is a more true corner. But right now, I kind of like that they went with the veteran group. And I understand a lot of these veterans, they're part of that group that's never, that's kind of went through them losing days and losing them close games. And trust me, it gets in your head. They could say it doesn't bother them. That was last year. But when it happens so often, it is in your head. So it takes some time to kind of get that out of there. So that'd be the only thing I'd really worry about when it comes to the older guys. The veteran guys were young guys. They weren't here. They've been winning in high school. They don't have that mindset yet. So, but now I want to switch that. If you haven't heard, Rhule was asked about the alternate uniforms and asked what kind of alternate uniforms the Huskers would probably wear this year. And he kind of stated that this is something that's got to be a couple years in advance, and there was nothing in 2024 or 2025. So he's saying, like, if they put something together for right now, it wouldn't be until 2026 that you'd see it. And he's kind of not that alternate uniform kind of person. And so it doesn't even look like they're going to do that. But I kind of like when they do that red on red. I mean, just use the uniforms you got. I know when I play the EA Sports game, I'll switch over and do red on red, or I might do white on white. I really like the red on red. Kind of wish they had a red helmet with a white in as well, but I guess that's a little too much red. What do you guys think? But maybe they'll do some more of that red on red. I kind of like when they come out and they're in all red. So now Rhule was asked about starting preparation for UTEP, which he said on Wednesday they did start preparation. And he stated the team is looking good as they are preparing now only for UTEP. And he talked about how UTEP, who's now brought in a brand new head coach, brought in Scotty Walden from Austin P. And you got to understand, Walden knows how to win. Not sure how much they'll have the team will have down of his system come game one, but it won't be long before Walden will have this team winning and it'll be a winning program. And lucky for the Huskers, they get them game one into Walden's tenure here. Now, Walden brought over about 10 transfers from his Austin P team, so they know how to win, along with a majority of their whole coaching staff. Now, UTEP is going to look completely different than they did last year, as Scotty brings that spread them out, hurry up offense, and they're also changing up defensively as they're switching it up, and they're going to go running a 3-3-5. Yeah, the same 3-3-5 defense that Tony White runs and the Huskers run. So I don't expect Rhule to have too much of an issue with the Miners defense, since he's been going up against one of the best 3-3-5 defenses in college football all winter. Well, winter, spring, and fall, be honest with you. Now, believe it or not, to me, the Huskers' issue might be with the defense, with our defense. Yeah, that's right, the defense. As Walden, like I said, likes to spread it out, move at a very high pace, and try to confuse the defense, try to get it where they can't substitute. As you know, Nebraska likes to substitute a lot of guys, and I guarantee you, Walden will run about 100 plays in that game, and if not, it will be darn close to it. As like I said, Walden's offenses, they spread you out and run like them perimeter screens. So Rhule has been implementing some of these plays during practice so Tony White and the players can get ready for UTEP. He's been doing things like this all spring and all fall camp for the first 4 games. He's been throwing things in for Illinois, Northern Iowa, Colorado, and of course UTEP. And of course, now come Wednesday, he's now just concentrating on UTEP. So now, don't sit on this team. As Walden, he has a tendency to push his big brother opponents when he plays them. And so I don't want Nebraska going there thinking this is a walk in the park, because I don't think it will be, but I do feel it's just going to be a little too soon for UTEP coming in and learning both a new offense and new defense, and you're just now in game one. So I feel like they're just not going to have the offense and the defense down to this point to even kind of be a factor, unless the Huskers shoot themselves in the foot a few times, which we've seen before. Plus, Rhule has had plenty of looks and opportunities to really break down this 3-3-5 defense. So I don't expect Rhule to be thrown off guard by about anything that they come with on that defense. I don't expect to phase him if UTEP throws anything at him. A matter of fact, I actually expect Rhule to probably have a big game here. I think this is the perfect game one for him because of that. And the way he reads the defense and sees what's going on, I expect Rhule to have a big game against UTEP, as I feel he'll definitely take advantage of some mistakes some players are going to make because it's their first game. Somebody's going to be out of position. And Rhule just one of those players that doesn't seem like he misses much, if you know what I mean. You make a mistake in that secondary, and I bet you he finds it. So I think he'll definitely take advantage of these mistakes, as this is a young UTEP team that's just starting out on that new system. Crap, I bet you Rhule probably has this 3-3-5 defense down better than the whole UTEP team. So now our next topic is starting kicker. After talking to Foley earlier this week, it sounded like the starting position is going to come down either to Tristan Albano or John Hull. And you could tell Foley really likes John Hull. He's done really well. He's come to 2 camps. He's shined in both camps. He's taken advantage of Albano being hurt and has kicked extremely well. Not just good, but extremely well. And both him and Foley and Rhule both stated that Albano is only about 90%. And Rhule even made the remark himself that kicker is one of those positions you need to be 100%. So, but he did say that this starting position probably will come down to all the way down to game time, all the way down to game day. Let's put it this way. Maybe Friday night or Saturday morning, you'll probably hear who he's going with. Now, let's get into our bold predictions for the Huskers in 2024. I got some bold ones. Let's see if you guys agree to them. See if this is feasible. Do you have any bold predictions? What do you guys think? Put down there if you guys think these can happen, or you have some of your own. Maybe there's something I didn't think of. But number one, the first bold prediction I have for Nebraska is I feel like Ja'Cory Barney will take a kickoff and a punt return for a touchdown in 2024. Yeah, not just one. He will have one as a kickoff and one as a punt return. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't get one of them in game one. But I think he's going to be electric this year. I think he's one of those players that even Rhule talked about. He's got to slow down. He just goes 100 miles an hour. And that's what he talks about. You got these players that just go all out. And that's Ja'Cory Barney. You just got to love it. That's these Florida kids. These down there in Miami area. We need more of them. You know, Vincent Chambers was down that area too. So now my second bold prediction, and let's still stay in the special team sides since that's what we were talking about earlier. And let's turn to the starting kicker. So my bold prediction number 2, which I'm not too sure is really that bold of a prediction, but I expect John Hull to win the starting kicking position over Tristan Albano. But the key is I feel like he will not lose it. I feel John Hull will win it and never lose that starting position. That's my bold prediction number 2. Now, my bold prediction number 3, and you guys will like this one, is Dylan Raiola will win the Big Ten Freshman of the Year in 2024. And again, that might not be such a big prediction because quarterback handles the ball more. I think he's the only freshman that's taken over starting quarterback. So unless the Huskers flop on their face, that's probably not too big of a bold. But hey, it's my bold prediction. Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Now I'm going to follow that up with my fourth bold prediction, as I feel Matt Rhule will win Coach of the Year, as I think this Husker team is going to really look good this year, and I think a lot of us probably feel that way. So my last bold prediction for 2024 is the Huskers will win more close games than they lose this season. Now, keep in mind the last, 3, 4, 5 years, Nebraska's lost more close games than anyone in the country. They were known as the best 3-9 team, the best 4-8 team, the best 5-7 team. You know, the best of category you don't want to be the best of. But I feel like this year they're going to learn how to win. And once they get that down, once they get it out of them and they learn how to win where they know and they could feel now, hey, we could win this, I feel like then the Huskers will win more close games than they'll lose close games. And remember, we haven't had that in a long, long, long time. Now, let's jump on over and answer some of your questions that you guys have asked. And sorry I couldn't get to all of them, but I did pick out about 3 of them here that I was intrigued by. And my first one is, what kind of role do I feel Heinrich Haarberg will have? And, since you asked this, I want to talk about the backup because Rhule did verify again today that Haarberg will be backup number 2, will be quarterback number 2. And Daniel will be number 3. As he talked about, Daniel's not going to be coming in and playing mop-up role and wasting a red shirt from him to go in and just hand the ball off. Because if Rhule or if Rhule gets hurt down the road and you need Daniel Kalen, it's going to blow if he has to waste a red shirt because a game or two you had him come in a mop-up role and had him hand the ball off. So I don't think you're going to see Daniel Kalen unless it's at the end of the year. Everyone's healthy then, and you can get him in. But at the end of the year, who you playing? Your last 4 games are USC, UCLA, Wisconsin, and Iowa. I don't know if you're going to have any blowouts there. Might against UCLA. And could you get him in a bowl game? But I feel like it's going to be a tighter match. So unless someone gets hurt, I don't see Daniel Kalen getting in. I see him redshirting. And keep in mind, they do have Jalen. And Jalen's seen a lot of football. He knows it's probably more about the playbook, why he's not more up the top than anything. But they do have him to go to if they had to really have someone. But I do expect Haarberg to come in. Will he play Wildcat? I don't know. He'll probably play more of that hybrid position, if you know what I mean. So I see that being what he does. But I do expect him to be in there. Might be some more of the, fullback, kind of like what Carter Nelson's probably going to be running. You probably see Carter Nelson out there, and then or Haarberg. I don't know. You might end up seeing both of them out there. But I think that's the position to have. I don't know if you're going to really have Wildcat and have him run in there and take a chance he gets hurt, and then you're kind of forcing your hand if Dylan gets hurt. So now my second question, this is another one that I really like this question, and I was intrigued, so I brought it in, is will the Huskers have a 1,000-yard receiver? And I like this question because I feel like, yes, they will. It wouldn't even surprise me if they had 2 1,000-yard receivers, but I do think they'll have one. And I think it's probably going to be Banks. But don't get me wrong, Nair could be one that could end up having 1,000 yards. But I do think it's going to be Banks that has a 1,000-yard receiver. So I do expect the Huskers to have a 1,000-yard receiver. I don't want another question. I didn't really put it in there, but I'll throw it in there. Is will they have a 1,000-yard rusher? And I don't really think so, just because I don't like they're going to rotate a lot of players, running backs. And they'll probably have some that are close. They might have a couple guys with 700, 800, 900 yards, but I don't think they're going to be able to get that 1,000-yard rusher in there. But hey, you never know. So my question number 3 is, and I really like this one too. Am I taking the over or under on Dylan Rhule throwing 4 interceptions this season? And you guys might think, wow. Now, he don't normally throw interceptions, but keep in mind, 1, this ain't high school. 2, you're not just playing 10 or 11 games. You're going to play probably at least 13 if they go to a bowl game, 13. What if they make the playoffs? Might even play more than that. And you got to think, if you play just 13, that's just 1 interception every, 3 or 4 games? So I think 4 is about right. I don't think he's going to throw a lot. I think if he does go over, it's probably going to be about 5. I'd say tops maybe 6. That's how I look at it. But keep in mind, he's going to go up against some good defenses. He's going to go up against Iowa, probably one of the better defenses in the country, and Ohio State. So you got players on them that could force some turnovers, force some plays. But I don't expect Rhule to make a lot of mistakes. But then again, not all the interceptions are his fault. Remember in the spring game, he had a pick and it wasn't his fault. Hit the receiver right in the hands, bounce out, boom, it was an interception. So because of that, I think I would take the over. But I think if it goes over, it'd be barely over 5. But I think 4 is about right. Wouldn't surprise me if it's less. But you only got 4 numbers underneath 4, so I'll go over, because if he goes under 4, he's either 3, 2, 1, or none. So now, if you haven't heard, Malachi Coleman and Dylan Rhule have come to an agreement on what number they'll be wearing. Because if you remember right, they both were wearing number 15, and neither one got a single digit. And like I said before, I kind of wish and want to see Dylan keep number 15, as Tommy Frazier wore number 15, one of arguably the best quarterback we've had. And Dylan's trying to dethrone him and take over that top quarterback spot. So Malachi was nice enough and decided to take number 11. So Malachi Coleman will wear number 11, and Dylan Rhule will now keep number 15 and wear number 15. So when you're looking out there and you see an 11 going, who's 11? That's Malachi Coleman. And number 15, no, it's not Tommy Frazier. He came out of retirement. That's going to be Dylan. So we got that mystery solved. Now, and allowing Dylan to take number 15, I don't know if Dylan paid him. You know, he has the money now. Did he pay for that number, or was Coleman just nice enough to give it to him? I got a feeling Coleman just gave it to him. Don't be surprised if next year Dylan Rhule is not wearing number 1 after he wins a single digit number, because I feel like come next year he wins a single digit number and then he wears number 1, because number 1 was his number before he went to Buford, Georgia, but someone there already had number 1, so he went to 15. Now, make sure to join me every Wednesday as I started a podcast called Husker Talk with Jeff, where we talk and discuss Huskers, recruiting, injury updates, anything and everything that takes place during that week. So make sure to catch those every Wednesday night right here on YouTube, so you don't want to miss that. And if you'd like those to be aired live, where you could be more involved every week, where you could give your comments, give your feedback, respond on what I say, as it's always to me better when you have other fans to discuss or even debate what I say. It just, that's what talking sports is about. One saying one thing and the other one maybe saying something else or don't agree to it. So if you want that, throw a comment below and let me know that you wouldn't mind having these live. Or you could send me an email. Just send it to jeff@bigredcountry.net. And like always, don't forget to subscribe and click on notifications. And please smash that like button. It's really appreciated. Until the next video, guys, go Big Red.